Hey, everybody. Welcome. I still haven't even sent the link out. Something's going on with my internet. Hopefully, it doesn't mess up the stream. How's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. Ooh, it's cold. I'm over here freezing. Ooh, I turned my fan off, but it is not helping. My goodness. All right, let me see if I can share this link. Well, welcome. How's everybody doing? All right, let me see here. And YouTube's doing that dumb thing where it like takes forever for the videos to upload. I hate when it does that because sometimes I could take for a 20-minute video, sometimes it could take 20 seconds and sometimes it could take hours. And I just don't understand why they can't get it together. Get it together. How's everybody doing? Welcome to True Crime. As you guys know, am I getting sick? I don't know, but I'm freezing. Like I am like, and I worked all day, so, ooh, which probably didn't help because I fell asleep after my shower. I laid down to watch a show and I fell asleep for a little bit, but maybe that's why I'm so cold. Oh, goodness. Welcome to True Crime Tuesday with your host, me, Feminine and Fierce. If you're over on Facebook, make sure you come on over. There is about to be a link on the page. All you have to do is go out of the live that you're in and scroll up to the top. Let's see. And click that link. You can come on over, enter at your own risk into the live chat. If you see someone or something you don't like, all you have to do is block them. This is true crime, so that means absolutely no malarkey and no. I'm supposed to warm up tomorrow. Yeah, it's 51 here, and I'm froze. No malarkey and no spoilers. If you see something that you're aware of or whatever the case may be, just wait for everybody else to hear it. All right, the link's going up on the page now. There we go. Whew. Man. We're talking about, yeah, I do have that video, but I'm telling you this, I might have to just find it on the internet because I have it, but it's not uploading. Like I obviously have my own video, but yeah, it's not uploading, so I'm gonna end up having to just find it on the internet, which is gonna suck because it's only like a couple minute video. Like it's not that long of a video. Oh, let me see if I can send it to my Facebook. Maybe that'll be better. And you guys know how we always start out true crime with the time waster mugshot game. All right, let's see. Let me send this to myself because this one's not a long video. If I can find it on here. There it is. It's only 2 minutes. All right, so let's do it. As you guys always know, true crime is always a trigger warning of some sort. Just my opinion. So we do play a time waster game with mugshots, alleged criminals, and their alleged crimes today. So we do have 5 alleged criminals. They're innocent until proven guilty, and then we have 5 things that we think they might have that we have to match to what their crime is. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like they're all hunters or enjoy wearing camouflage. That's what they look like they have in common. The crimes they could have committed: driving while intoxicated, armed robbery, narcotics trafficking, leaving the scene of an accident, and domestic assault. I feel like this one's going to be a hard one. So you guys throw out what you think. Like I said, the criminals 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so you'll say like 1, armed robbery, 2, narcotics trafficking, whatever you think. And I will randomly pull them. 2 is DUI. I saw that one right off the bat. All right. 2 is DUI. Let's see. Number 1, armed robbery. Let's try it. All right, we got narcotics trafficking, leaving the scene of an accident, and domestic assault. We got 5 for narcotics. All right, now we got 2 left. Leaving the scene Domestic assault number 4. Look, y'all are agreeing, or you guys are doing good on this one. Oh, we only got 1 out of 5 though. Leaving the scene of an accident, which ended up being a default. He ended up being default. We got the default answer right. So what actually went down was number 1, driving while intoxicated. Number 2, domestic assault. Looks like he's scared. He said, shit, when I get out of here, I'm about to get my beat. Number 3, leaving the scene of an accident. Number 4, narcotics trafficking. And number 5, armed robbery. His face looks like he's got a permanent sad face. Poor thing. All right, here we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, we already did this one. Okay, let me go back. I was gonna say, damn, we got another one. All right. Let's see. We got all the way to the last. All right, let's see. Blood alcohol content. We were not good with that. We were not good on the blood alcohol. Reported occupations. Oh, Lord. Match the arrestees with the TV shows on their T-shirts. What? These are all different ones. Let's try this one. Match the granny to her crime. We got Granny 1, Granny 2, Granny 3, Granny 4, and Granny 5. We've got coquiana sale and pew-pew possession, drunk driving, passing a worthless check, disorderly conduct, or organized criminal activity. You guys let me know which granny did what. Hey, Tina. You got number 1 right. There you go. Happy birthday, Pop Mom. Number 1. Drunk driving. She does look kind of happy. That might be that disorderly conduct. Number 2, passing a check. Passing a worthless check. We got 3, 4, and 5 left, and we've got coquiana, disorderly conduct, and organized criminal. Number 5 is coquiana. And then we got organized crime and disorderly conduct. Who you think 5 is organized crime? You think 2 is organized crime? Hey. Wildflower, you think 4 is coquiana? Disorderly is 3. All right, let's try it. Ooh, let's see. Oh, 1 out of 5. Organized crime, we got correct. Granny number 1, disorderly conduct. Granny number 2, drunk driving. Somebody said that. Granny number 3 is the coquiana and a pew-pew. Isn't that surprising? Number 4 is organized crime. And 5 is passing a worthless check. Look at Granny's gone wild. Look at them. Granny's gone wild. Oh, man. All right. So since my videos aren't downloading, let me find this. I think I can find it. Because like I said, I have it uploading, but of course it's not going to. Even to it's uploading to my Facebook, but it's going to take a minute. Let's see. Maybe by the time we watch this, maybe the actual video will download. Granny number 2 looks evil. Some of them, they did look a little evil, didn't they? All right, let's check this out. Oh, at Facebook. That's where I have to tell you goodbye. Bye, Facebook. There's a link on the page if you want to come on over. All right, let's see. Bye to Facebook. There we go. Almost forgot.
Very own WGN Midday News.
Crowds gathering outside an elementary school after a mother and her children were beaten by other kids. These parents in the South Deering community want consequences. Good afternoon, I'm Dina Baer.
I'm Patrick Ell. That attack was recorded and posted to social media. Winnie Dorch has been following the story all morning and has talked with those involved.
Good afternoon. Well, the adults who showed up to the school this morning say while they're shocked, they're not surprised. They're demanding accountability, saying the students involved should be expelled. Now, I want to warn you, we will show you that video, but it may be too disturbing to watch. But it also explains why so many people are upset.
This is how we show up. Justice, peace.
Chicago police escorted 33-year-old Korshonda Hatter into Orville T. Bright Public School Tuesday morning for a meeting with officials. A sea of supporters gathered around her, chanting. The Chicago mom is the focus of this video seen millions of times on social media. She and her children were attacked by multiple other children Monday afternoon as they were walking home. WGN is not showing the full video as it may be too disturbing to watch. But here's what we will show you. You can see Hatter and her children walking as a group of elementary students followed and yelled at them. Next, you see the kids crowd around Hatter and her children, and that's when two of them started to punch them. Hatter was eventually thrown to the ground and jumped, as was her son.
They were literally waiting the way we walk home just to jump all of us.
So now we waiting.
Just to jump all of us. So I asked my kids to come to the next side of the street with me, so they wouldn't get jumped. So we kept walking. They followed us all the way there, and then they still fought us. They fought my son. They hit my son first, all in his face. Then they dragged me in the grass and pulled my little baby hair.
Hatter and her 9-year-old son were taken to Trinity Hospital in serious condition after the attack. According to her, this isn't the first time her child has been bullied, and she's hoping this will be the last.
I'm trying to get justice for my son.
Absolutely.
And you deserve it.
I'm thinking about the victims. I'm thinking about these little children who I just saw. They're terrified. They're traumatized. And we're not accepting it.
Those who stood outside the school say students have been terrorizing the community.
It's been an ongoing thing in this community, and the parents don't take accountability for nothing their kids do. If my kids was out here being messy, I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna let it be known.
Same,
This
Valerie.
is a devastating story
Same.
out here today. We know CPS is looking into this incident, and we're hoping to get more information as the day progresses. But of course, stick with us online and on air for the latest. I'm live here in the South Deering neighborhood.
It's just awful. I just can't imagine. And then the craziest part is they were calling her Chicago packed that lady and her 2 kids, and they're moving them out already in 24 hours. They were calling the lady Shamar. That was what was nuts. I was like, what? They were like, you Shamar looking thing? I said, no, how them kids know that? Like, look at them. What the heck? I was trying to find the video of this. Let's see. Trying to find the video of them moving them out, but I don't see it. Let's see. So they're outing the parents. They put the parents on there of different ones. It's just crazy. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. I was trying to I'm just trying to hold on a second. Shamar is another influencer.
I'm thankful for everybody that came out here. Justice and justice.
This is how we come together.
Yes. The father want to say something, y'all. This the daddy.
It's the daddy.
We need somebody from the school out here too. Where they at?
Give her a gift. She's trying to give her a gift. That's something for you, baby. That's not a discriminate. I be kids and I don't give a fuck. That part.
Officer Vargas here. I'm Officer Griffin. All of you all know me from Chicago.
I was trying to see where they moved. Oh, look, right here. Chicago snapped, packed, and moving out already within 24 hours.
That's the family moving out, yes. Yeah, you see they moving the stuff out. That's the family that it happened to? Probably so, moving the stuff. Yeah. You were saying? No, that's the movie. They moved, that's the family stuff that happened to. Oh, wow. Yeah, they're moving the stuff, yeah. They moving it. Yeah. Get the picture, that's the family.
Loyalty is
Okay. So they're moving them out of the community, which is good because what happened is just insane. All right. So trigger warning. If you do not want to see the video, it is 2 minutes and 13 seconds long. So if you don't want to see the video, you can come back in 2 minutes and 13 seconds because it is triggering for some. Yes, Shamar is the guy. He's an influencer. Yes. He's the one who allegedly created Clock It. Isn't that what he said? He did the song Clock It or something. So yeah, 2 minutes and 13 seconds if you want to come back. Again, extreme trigger warning.
Come on, blood. Shamar looking at. Shamar. Come here. What you want, Shamar? Foot. Shamar, foot. What you want, Shamar? Shamar looking at. Come on. Look at them ankles, boy. Shamar looking at. Junior. Bitch.
Hey, ball head.
Hey, foot, don't touch my brother, foot. Look at them bitches, Greg. Crackhead. Other bitches, Mari. That's the guy. Oh my God, the little kids in them, not the big kids. The big kids not touching them. I'm saying the little kids. Oh, should smash that bitch on my brother. Damn! Crack! Damn!
Hey.
Hey, fool, let my homie go. Let my motherfucking homie go. Let my motherfucking. Beat his ass, yo. Damn! They working it. Damn! Oh my God! Hey!
That poor babies, them babies. I mean, that little girl was so scared. I mean, her mom tried to protect her kids. She tried to protect her kids as much as she could. It's over now, mate. She tried to protect her kids as much as she could. Yeah, no, they are elementary children. Elementary. Like, what the fuck is wrong with our country right now? That you and I will say too, a lot of people thought from the those are children. They followed them. They're elementary kids. Yes, and they beat a woman and her 2 children up. Well, they beat up the woman and her son, and then the little girl, they pulled her hair. And then when someone said something, when she said something to him, they were like, the big kids ain't touching them. It's the little kids. And then once they got the mom to the ground, all the big kids started. If my kid was doing something like that out there, I'd have been at the school. I'd have been wherever I had to be and my kid would have been right there and they would have been facing the consequences. Screw that. They need doing something like that, being a part of something like that. Nope, you're going to face the shame. You're going to face all of it. You did it. You're going to face it. I'm not going to hide you away. None of that. Also, people thought from the video that the mom was pregnant. They said that she is not pregnant. Because a lot of people saw the video and they were like, oh my God, she's pregnant, but she was not. So I just wanted to clear that up because a lot of people thought from watching it that she was pregnant and she's not. Yeah, I would hope mine would not either. But I'm saying if I was one of those parents, I would have made my kid get a hard lesson in following the crowd. Like, your youngest son has sickle cell. Oh, I'm so sorry. Here, the kid that records gets charged too. I mean, the kid that was recording was definitely antagonizing and, saying, I mean, they pushed that one little girl, the girl that jumped up first in like the brown, the one that she had the headphones on that came up first. They pushed her and told her like, go hit her. And then of course, once one person did it, it was like just all of them got, cause they were walking down through there, they're getting all hyped up, talking shit. The mom has sickle cell. Oh, I didn't know that. That's awful. Rapper flying them out and doing the school shopping for the kids. That's amazing. Well, they moved them right up out there. Yeah, pregnant or not. But I just wanted to clear that up because a lot of people thought that she was pregnant. But, oh, my goodness, sickle cell is an awful, awful blood disease. It affects your red blood cells. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Colette. My kid, I would pray that my kid would never. Well, my kids are obviously grown. They're not that age. I would hope my kid wouldn't even do that now as a grown up. I mean, like ever. But if my kid did get involved in something like that, it's a video of that little girl apologizing, like that. Fuck that apology. I mean, well, at least some of them, from what I've heard, the parents are like acting like their kid didn't do shit. Like, if that was your kid on the video, your kid's voice, your kids, what they were wearing, or you should, I mean, maybe they don't, but you should know everything. You should know if your kid was in that video or not. And like Colette said, they're going to face it all. They're going to face all the consequences because you're going to learn from this shit. You're not ever going to do something like that. I'd pray they wouldn't ever do it in the first place. But if they did, oh, yeah, they're facing all consequences. You're not going to hide from this. Right, Chrissy. You can see the video clearly. Right. Maybe eye for an eye was brought back. People would think twice before making the decision to do such things. I don't know. I don't know if it's because jail just doesn't seem like a consequence anymore. I don't know I don't know what it is. Like, people are just... Like I said, I don't know if I really feel like maybe jail just doesn't seem like a terrible consequence at this point. I feel like some people, maybe they look at jail like a break. Like, oh, I don't have to pay bills. I get taken care of. I can hang out. I can do whatever. Like, I don't know, because I'm telling, like, well, my morals and values keep me from doing stuff. Obviously, my religion keeps me from doing stuff. But also on top of that, not going to jail keeps me from doing stuff, like, I'm not trying to go to jail, but some people just don't care, I guess, and with the kids, it's just like, that is a perfect example of follow the leader type shit. Not one of those kids stepped up and said, this is wrong. What are y'all doing? And some of those kids were big enough to have been able to turn around, especially to the smaller kids, and be like, what are you doing? We don't do this, but none of them did. Not the big kids, none of them. Like, and there was some older, I know it's elementary, but there were some older kids that looked to be about, 11, 12, something like that. Like, none of them stood up and said, don't do this. It's crazy. Instead, they're like, oh, the big kids aren't hitting him, only the little kids. Like, what? Since when did jumping anyone? Like, if you're trying to fight, like, if people that fight, you fight, whatever, but jumping somebody, like, what is wrong with the people? Yeah, it is, Hoodbilly. Right, Mimi. That's what I'm saying. My kid's going to face the consequences, all consequences. Mom mentality. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no kid stepped up and said, like, what the are y'all doing? Like, this is not okay. And the mom, I mean, what can she do? She's got 2 kids, not just herself she's worried about, but she's got 2 babies she's trying to protect. Like, I'm just glad they're up and out of there, and they moved them up out of there, and their lives will change forever because of it, obviously in different ways. They're always going to be traumatized by that event, but hopefully they'll get them out of there and better things will come. Criminals are getting away with the slap on the hand, and prison has become too easy. That's what, yeah, honey. I mean, it would have to be. It would have to be if they don't care to go back and go back and go. I mean, and some of them do. I understand that some people do get like institutionalized, like they feel like that's their home, like that's all they've ever known, like especially if they go to juvie when they're young. And I get that part of it. But there's got to be some part that like people don't dread jail as much as they used to or something. I don't know. At what point does see something say kick in? That's what I'm saying. Like what it didn't kick in for them. I mean, they were just antagonizing each other, just, instigating each other. 5 kids beating 1 kid with over 100 kids standing around watching and effing them on. It only took one person to stand. That's what I'm saying, Colette. If one of those kids would have stood up and said, like, stop this bullshit, get the fuck home, I'm going to, something. I feel like they would have probably just stopped because they were all just following whatever was going on. Yeah, they've been watching too many. They've been watching too many fight videos being glorified. And you could tell they were all like hyped up. They had walked and got themselves hyped up. And I think that's why when the one girl, when they pushed her and she went ahead, like they pushed her, she stepped back and then she steps again and starts hitting. And then that's all it took is for one to start. Then they all, get in there. It's like then they all got in. Like they thought they were going to be cool for doing it. Oh, no, that's so sad. Well, I'm glad they're out of there. Maybe she can be awarded $10 million like the teacher that was shot. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think jail's a pretty good start. I think jail's a pretty good damn start for sure. Jail is cool to kids. See, it was never cool to me. Jail was never cool to me. Like you can't do what you mean to tell me you can't do what you want? You got to be locked down at 9 p.m. in like a small little area. Oh, hell no. Maybe because I'm like a little bit claustrophobic. Maybe that's why that I'm just like, absolutely not. Okay, Tita. I guess it was like walking from the school, Bonnie. But they were definitely at the school today. That was one of those videos, but you couldn't hear it because it was hard to hear because everybody was talking and stuff. But that's what one of those videos that I just scrolled through. It was at the school. They had a meeting today at the school. Took me one time as a juvenile doing a year to know jail was not for me. Fuck all that. Yeah, I can't imagine thinking jail is cool because that's not my mentality at all. Like, I'm too stubborn and like independent. I don't want nobody telling me. But some people need that routine and like they like that routine and people telling them what to do and all. Not me. That's like my worst nightmare. Oh goodness. They waited on them and followed them from school. Yeah, they waited on and followed them home from school or tried to follow, all the way. I don't know if they got home. That happened in damn, it was just on the tip of my tongue too. Chicago. That was in Chicago. Too many jail shows and heck no for me. They showed out today and they throw on every law they can at them kids. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I guess. I hate to use the word normal. I try to stay away from the word normal, but I get what you're saying. I don't know. These days though, it seems like it's not the norm, Colette, to be like, it seems like my take on it, like jail not being cool is not the norm these days because people are doing, maybe it's just getting publicized more, but I feel like people are doing more and more crazy stuff. But I also think it does have a direct connection with our mental health, our economy, our mental health after COVID. Like, I think all of that plays a role. See where the kid made fun of the child with cancer. So the dad sat him down and cut his hair and dreadlocks out. Oh God. And he filmed it. See, that's the thing. Like, I get what he did there. Like, he made fun of the kid, so he cut his hair, but filming it and humiliating your kids, That is just, I don't get that. Like the lady who tore that little boy's toys up because he tore up a book at school or whatever. Like, why do you got to tape it and put it online? Like, what? Chicago on par with Memphis. They straight this at home and then wonder why the National Guard is coming in. Colette. It gets worse and worse. I used to think that we were safe, like America was safe and everywhere else was scary. Hell no. I want to come to New Zealand. I don't even think your cops carry pew pews, do they? I just can't imagine a cop not carrying a pew pew. Like, what? Like, they just listen to you? They don't run? Like, what? But that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. I just heard New Zealand cops don't normally, like, they have them, but they don't normally carry them, like, just out and about. Oh, definitely not. Two wrongs definitely don't make a right. They all need the shit scared out of them. Took my son to prison to have inmates, all like the scared straight stuff. Told him he stick his tongue down. Oh, Lord. Very much should be like, yes, nurture and nature, how they're nurtured definitely plays a role, as well as their DNA. But I think even more so is how they're raised, what environment they're raised in, all of those things. And then for it to be, it had been going on for years and none of the parents did anything about it. Like this was the way they made it sound like this was a known issue in the community that's what I'm saying, Colette, that is insane to me. Like, that's crazy. Like, our cops they would do, if people knew that our cops didn't have pew-pews, it would be mayhem. Like, it would be all out malarkey for real. Unaliving is worse than with the National Guard here. That's wild, Blue Flame. Kids are caught nearly every day with pews. There was an incident just yesterday with a kid. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it's like a scared straight program, Bonnie. But, all those programs for, like, troubled teens, they're all coming out as, like, really bad. Paris Hilton started exposing, like, the troubled teen industry. And now there's all these, if you've seen them, there's a documentary on Netflix. There's, several documentaries about these programs that kids went through and like the demerits and all. So I don't even know. I mean, I'm not sure if you have talked about it. Did you see about the 3 kids? I haven't talked about it, Valerie. That's a hard one. Yeah, I saw that. The little girl was 5 and there were 9 and 10-year-olds. I thought it was just 2 kids, a 9 and 10-year-old little, like one boy and a girl. But yes, I did see that. That one was definitely a hard watch for sure. Okay, let's get into this next video. Now that finally everything's uploaded. Also, while you guys are waiting, if you'll hit that thumbs up, I greatly appreciate it. If you're in the chat, all you have to do is hit that X on the right-hand side and go out and hit the thumbs up. And if you're a silent watcher and not in the chat, do that as well. All right, let's see. Man, this is just this story. I mean, they're all tragedies. You guys know, I always say, like, they're all such tragedies that we cover. Oh my goodness, Stacey. All right, here's another tragic story.
Accused of murder, of essentially walking into work yesterday morning at 6 a.m. and the first thing he did was to grab a sledgehammer and bludgeon to death 20-year-old Amber Check.
Amber Check was 20 years old, from Hutchinson, Minnesota. Friends and family describe her as deeply dedicated, especially to her work. She had completed a 10-month welding technology program at Alexandria Technical and Community College. She loved welding. She wasn't just passing through her job, she invested in her craft. For Amber, each shift built more than product. It built her future. Amber worked at Advanced Process Technologies in Cokato, Minnesota, a facility that makes food and dairy processing equipment. It was early morning at the plant when the violence occurred. The factory, its routines, machines, all should have felt predictable, safe for someone like Amber. But that routine became the site of unspeakable tragedy. On November 11th, just before 6 a.m., a 911 call went out from the plant. A woman at her workstation. Major head trauma. Significant blood loss. Deputies rushed in. Paramedics arrived. But the scene was already catastrophic. The victim, Amber, was discovered in her station area, gravely wounded. Meanwhile, surveillance footage would later become the central piece of evidence.
Investigators say surveillance video recorded a lot of DeLong's attack first thing in the morning. They say he put on gloves, grabbed the sledgehammer from the woman's workstation, and then hit her with it.
The victim is off scene from the video, but the video shows the suspect swinging a pretty significant incised sledgehammer 5 times and attacking the victim.
They say the woman was standing for the first blow, but then DeLong hit her 4 times after she was on the ground.
After the assault, DeLong allegedly turned to a co-worker saying, "I hit her with your hammer. She is by your toolbox. She is gone." It was a chilling admission, delivered not in private, but in front of someone else, a witness who would later speak to investigators. That statement reveals not just guilt, but a horrifying finality. Deputies responded swiftly. DeLong was arrested at the scene without resistance. Once in custody, he cooperated.
He acknowledged in that statement that he intended to kill the victim. So it does seem like we have premeditation available in this case.
He confessed to killing Amber.
Listen to this
He did
shit.
not like her, and that he had been planning it for some time. His level of premeditation adds a chilling dimension to the crime. DeLong has been charged with second-degree intentional murder, but prosecutors are considering upgrading the charge to first-degree premeditated murder, which would require a grand jury. The potential first-degree charge signals that authorities see this not as a crime of passion, but of premeditation. Authorities say Amber died from blunt force trauma to the head, consistent with multiple sledgehammer strikes. The weapon was recovered near her body. Forensics and video together draw a horrifying picture. Deliberate, forceful, repeated impact. In interviews in the criminal complaint, DeLong claimed he didn't like Amber, citing a bad look she once gave him. Random preference and resentment. Advanced Process Technologies released a brief, somber statement. They are heartbroken, working closely with law enforcement and supporting employees and the victim's family. In the wake of the tragedy, production at the facility was paused for the rest of the week. Her high school coach remembered her as a sharp basketball player, laughing, always careful with her welding, joking about losing a finger. Those who knew her say she believed in her work and in building something real through her trade. The shockwaves went beyond her family. In her small town and among the trades community, her death prompted conversations about safety, mental health, and the risks workers take every day. Colleagues, friends, and industry peers expressed heartbreak, even anger, over how such violence could erupt under familiar roofs. Amber's case underscores how even ordinary industrial workplaces can become crime scenes when personal animosity escalates. From public sources, there's no documented history of a formal complaint, harassment report, or visible threat. But given DeLong's admission of planning, questions arise. Could signs have been noticed? Were co-workers or management aware of his state of mind? Did Amber feel uncomfortable or threatened before? We may never know all the answers, but overlooking potential red flags can have deadly consequences. Amber was a young woman in a physically demanding, male-dominated field. In forums across tradeswomen networks, like r/Blue Collar Women, her death hit hard. Many see her not just as a tragedy, but as a symbol. Advocates in construction, welding, and safety sectors are urging companies to do more. Strengthen workplace violence policies, train managers to recognize risk, and ensure mental health resources. Some in the trades believe Amber's death must become a catalyst for cultural shifts, not just in her facility, but across the industry.
Workplace violence is actually more common than you might think. In the U.S., workplace homicides happen almost 10 times every week, and in Minnesota, workplace assaults happen almost 20 times every week.
With prosecutors evaluating a first-degree premeditated murder charge, this case could set a precedent. A grand jury may be convened. If additional charges are brought, it could reshape how similar crimes are prosecuted. Meanwhile, Amber's family and the community are watching closely, demanding not just justice, but systemic change, accountability for DeLong, and prevention in the future. Amber Check's life was cut short, but the questions raised by her death resonate far beyond her community. She was building, hoping, and working. Now her story demands that we all pay attention to mental health, to workplace safety, to how grudges can turn deadly. Her name shouldn't be just another tragic headline. Her legacy can be a call to protect, to prevent, and to transform.
So people, of course, it's going viral all over TikTok. Women that are in similar, welding or they're blue collar workers, he literally planned it out. And then whenever the cops came, he went over to another worker and he didn't even tell this other worker in private. He told this other worker in front of everybody. He told this worker in front of everybody that, he said, that he hit her or whatever, that she's over there by your workstation and she's gone. And he had cited that he did not like her. Allegedly, she had given him a bad look once. And he planned this out. Like he said, he had been wanting to do this for a while. Right, Spicy. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is just insane. You she just went into work, and she loved welding. She was a young girl. She went through a 10-month program. And just because she's a female in a male-dominated, workplace doesn't mean that anybody deserves that. But especially, just because she allegedly gave him a bad look once. Yeah, that could have been also FBI. Yep. Yeah, definitely. Wonder if I don't know. They didn't have anything, like they didn't say anything about that, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen. I mean, I don't know. Maybe because she wasn't attracted to him. I mean, who knows? You just never know. I mean, for him to have planned that and then done it in such a cold-blooded way, and they said that from the evidence that she was standing when the first 2 strikes hit her, and then she was laying down when he hit her 4 more times with a sledgehammer. So he hit her twice when she's standing, and then she falls, and he hits her 4 more times. I mean, it's just awful. It's just awful. He's going to get more than a bad look in prison, honey. Yeah. Exactly. Could have, May. Definitely could have. I mean, we as humans want to think it was more than just a bad look, because the fuck? And that's just your perception of it. It might not have even been a bad look. She might have had resting bitch face. Like, who knows? So we want to think as humans there was more to the story. But sadly, maybe there wasn't more to the story. Maybe he was just evil. Ugh. Maybe he was just evil. It's awful. Which brings me to the next one. Oh, this is awful. Definitely trigger warning on this one for sure. This one's a hard one. Somebody actually sent me this one to share with you guys. So, but man, they just did look like he did. He did. He looked Definitely can't judge a book by its cover, but he definitely fit the description of what you would think. I mean, especially somebody who just did it because she allegedly gave him a bad look. Like, what? Who are you? Even if she did give you a bad look, it doesn't mean you have a right to take her out of this world and take her from those who loved her. Welcome to another episode of True Crime Tuesday with your host, me, Feminine and Fierce. This is about 31-year-old Oninda Romulus in Brazoria County, Texas. Major trigger warning.
We need multiple ambulances.
4:48 a.m., October 4th, 2025. A gas station in Angleton, Texas. Inside a white Audi, 4 children have been shot. 2 are already dead, 2 are dying. The woman who pulled the trigger was standing calmly outside, pumping gas like it was just another Friday morning. When police ask her why she called 911, she looks them in the eye and says, "I didn't call 911. I called the devil." But that's not even the most disturbing part of this story. Because when investigators searched her home, they discovered something far more calculated and psychotic. This is the story of Oninda Romulus and her 5 children.
Yeah, you can see the signs. What kind of hang nigga tell you, oh, you spend too much money on your nails and your goddamn hair and feet, you can be saving that money? You go over there and tell them how to live her life. That don't call no nigga for nothing? How the hell you gonna tell me what to do with my money? Now that I think about it, I really blame you for letting these niggas think they can play with real. Y'all gonna sit and wait on the nigga to feed y'all. Y'all gonna sit and wait on the nigga to do everything for y'all. Y'all not gonna go get up and get it. So when they come around the real that do everything on their own, they feel like they can take your power away. You can't take no power from a that built herself. Like you can't. You can never. What you is gonna do is you gonna play yourself out of a real that's gonna stay down with y'all do whatever. As soon as a nigga do something, now you a weird, be a dumb weird, a tweaking. Up when you play in my face. Niggas gotta learn to play where it's safe at. It's not safe over here. Don't come playing in the energy that don't need a nigga for nothing. Don't need a nigga for a penny.
Let me paint you the full picture of that morning, because the details matter, and every single one of them makes this story more unbelievable. Oninda Romulus had driven approximately 1 hour from her home in Porter, Texas, to this gas station along State Highway 288. Inside her vehicle were her 4 children, 13-year-old Ocario Covington, 9-year-old Kyle Romulus, 8-year-old Treviel Donner, and 3-year-old Amara Chappelle. At some point during or before that drive, all 4 children were shot at close range. When deputies arrived at the scene, they found a nightmare. Ocario was slumped in the passenger seat. Little Amara, just 3 years old, was in the back. Both were already gone. Kyle and Treviel, the 9 and 8-year-olds, were clinging to life. Some of the children were covered with a white sheet. The responding officers immediately began providing life-saving measures, desperately trying to save what could be saved.
Lona and Jacob, jail records show that 31-year-old Oninda Romulus lived in a home in Porter that is about an hour away north of Angleton, where her kids were found shot in a car. Now, the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office says that they initially found out about the shooting through a 911 call. Take a listen to when deputies were first dispatched to the scene.
We need multiple ambulances.
That urgency you hear? That's what deputies encountered. Kyle and Treviel were airlifted to Memorial Hermann Hospital in Houston, where miraculously they survived and are now in stable condition. And Oninda? She was standing calmly beside her vehicle, detached, almost serene. She was detained without any resistance whatsoever. No struggle, no breakdown, just compliance. It was as if she'd been waiting for them.
Yesterday, Brazoria County deputies responded to an unthinkable, unimaginable tragedy. This event has shaken our community, and we are all feeling the loss.
But what she said next, what she told investigators in the hours that followed, that's where this case transitions from tragic to absolutely terrifying. When questioned about what happened, Romelis told investigators, instead of them doing it to me, I'm going to do it to them. Kill them all.
As for Romelis, she was transported to the county jail and interviewed, telling investigators, quote, instead of them doing it to me, I'm going to do it to them. When the officer asked, do what? She allegedly responded, kill them all.
Think about those words for a moment. Instead of them doing it to me, what exactly did she think her children, including a 3-year-old baby, were going to do to her? When asked to clarify, she allegedly responded simply, kill them all. During the interview, she displayed clear signs of paranoia, repeatedly glancing at the door. Her responses were disjointed, incoherent at times. She kept insisting that her children were with the devil and were dead to me. She repeatedly mentioned being ready to work, a phrase that made absolutely no sense in context and that investigators found particularly disturbing. And that claim about calling the devil instead of 911, she stuck to that story, insisted she never called 911 at all. Now, you might be thinking this sounds like a clear-cut case of severe mental illness, a psychotic break, a mother who lost touch with reality and committed an unspeakable act in the throes of delusion. And maybe there's some truth to that. But here's where the story gets infinitely more complex, because investigators would soon discover that Oninda Romelis had been living a double life, that one that suggests far more calculation and awareness than her statements to police would indicate. See, while Romelis was telling police about the devil and making paranoid, incoherent statements, she had been carefully cultivating a very different image online. On social media, she wasn't a troubled mother hearing demonic voices. She was what some might call an instabody, posting about her material success, her salon business, her luxurious lifestyle. She had boasted about buying a bigger home for her family, completing her salon exactly how she wanted it, purchasing a car that could fit all her kids comfortably, and even buying land in Haiti to build what she called her mini mansion. Her online presence screamed success, independence, and the achievement of the American dream. But that dream was built on something far more dirtier than hard work and entrepreneurship. When investigators executed a search warrant at her Porter, Texas home, initially looking for a 5th child who remains unaccounted for to this day, they uncovered...
That's what I don't get. She has 5 children. There were only 4 children in the vehicle with her. 2 survived, 2 did not, and 1 child is still completely unaccounted for. Nobody knows where the child is. They still, to this day, like this has been a month ago. I think this happened on, what did they say, October 7th or 4th? One of those days. It was like the first week in October that this happened. The child still, I've not heard anything about this 5th child being found. I mean, I would think family would know, like nobody knows where this 5th child is. And I'm wondering, are they going to find the 5th child at some point in a similar situation as 2 of their siblings? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, where is the 5th child? I don't know how people lose kids, or like these stories where kids are in basements for 2 years or all these things. It's like nobody checked on that child. Nobody noticed the child's missing. Like it escapes me how that, I just don't understand it.
Evidence of an extensive fraud operation. We're not talking about a few stolen credit cards or a small-time scam. This was sophisticated, organized identity theft on a massive scale. Scattered throughout her office, master bedroom, and even her kitchen, deputies discovered 33 social security cards. 33. All bearing different names. They found 48 identification cards, some of which had Oninda's own photograph, but listed completely different names. Some of these IDs were clearly finished products, others were still in various stages of production, a detail that suggests this wasn't a one-time thing. but an active, ongoing operation. 16 credit cards with various names on them, 2 United States Treasury checks carefully enveloped and addressed to her home, but bearing names other than her own. 15 packages of blank checks, neatly wrapped, plus 2 additional unwrapped stacks. 2 printers, an HP DeskJet 4155E, and an HP Inspire Insight.
So she was running a whole fraud operation, like completely organized fraud operation. But then when they get on the scene, she's talking about she didn't call 911, she called the devil. Like, what happened? Is she just doing that because she wants to get off on insanity? Like, who knows? So the 5th child was a 17-year-old who was unaccounted for following the incident. Let's see. They executed a search warrant. The teen was not found, and their whereabouts remain a subject of investigation. So, yeah, 17-year-old completely still unaccounted for.
Were clearly used for producing these fraudulent documents. Notebooks, papers, miscellaneous mail from different people, all the infrastructure of a full-scale identity theft ring. This wasn't amateur hour. This was organized crime, and it was funding every single luxury she'd been flaunting online. That salon she was so proud of, paid for with stolen identities. The bigger home, same thing. The car that fit all her kids comfortably, you guessed it. Even the land in Haiti, that dream of building a mini mansion in her ancestral homeland, all of it was built on fraud. Now, Romelis had presented herself.
I don't think that the feds were on to her because unless maybe local law enforcement went in, they didn't know, because the way it's being reported is that they had no idea that they were going to go in and find this huge operation and all these different social security cards and IDs and printers. And so I would think that they weren't on to her, but you never know. I mean, it's the FBI.
As a tax preparer, which investigators now believe was simply a cover for her illegal activities. It gave her access to people's personal information. It gave her a seemingly legitimate reason to have printers and blank forms and all the tools of her trade. And it gave her the perfect smokescreen to explain her lifestyle to anyone who might ask questions. After all, tax preparers during tax season can make decent money, right? Except Romelis wasn't making money the legal way. And here's where this connects back to that horrific morning at the gas station. Because according to investigators, Romelis had been expressing increasing frustration with her children, specifically about how they were interfering with her business. That business, we now know, was her fraud operation. Social media posts from the weeks and months before the shooting showed a woman under increasing pressure. She wrote things like, "This past week, the devil has sent his minions to irritate and annoy me. I'm just glad I ignored them because the way I'm heading, it's jail or hell." Jail or hell. Those were her 2 options, and she knew it.
The fact that she was saying the devil's minions, and people probably, when they read that, probably did not think that she was actually talking about her children. Which is sad, because now when she describes that her children went with the devil and all these things, obviously looking back, hindsight's 2020, you can clearly tell she was talking about her kids. And she said, "I'm going to jail or hell." Now, I think that would be definitely premeditation right there, because she says clearly, "I'm either going 2 places," and she's currently sitting in jail. So
she was posting about being irritated and annoyed. She was talking about being tired, about people disrespecting her, about not letting her children stop her life. The picture that emerges is of a woman who viewed her own children not as blessings or even responsibilities, but as obstacles. Obstacles to her fraud operation, obstacles to her social media presence, obstacles to her ability to go to happy hours and present herself as this carefree businesswoman living her best life. But Oninda Romelis' story doesn't start with fraud or murder. It starts much earlier, with a pattern of instability, poor choices, and warning signs that, in retrospect, paint a disturbing picture of escalation. Born in Miami, Florida, to Haitian immigrant parents, Romelis later moved to Atlanta, Georgia. She attended Alonzo AA Crim High School and studied political science at Georgia Perimeter College, though there's no record of her completing her degree. She worked entry-level jobs, catering at Willie's Mexican Grill, cashier at McDonald's, and package handler at UPS. She even tried her hand at rapping briefly, with lyrics about pushing through adversity and not having time for distractions. But her personal life was chaotic from the start. Romelis has 5 children from multiple relationships, and many of these relationships were with men who had serious criminal histories. One partner was convicted of attempted kidnapping. Another was arrested for murder. These weren't just bad relationship choices. These were patterns that suggested either terrible judgment or an attraction to dangerous, unstable men. Or possibly both. And then there's the matter of her oldest son, Ocario, the 13-year-old who would tragically become one of her victims 12 years later. Around 2013, when Ocario was just a baby, Romelis appeared on the reality TV show Lauren Lake's.
Yes, she was a, well, I think they even called it contestant on Paternity Court, which I wouldn't think it was called contestant, but who knows. But yeah, she was on Paternity Court years ago.
Paternity Court. The episode, which is still available online, shows a young Romelis seeking to determine which of 2 men, her longtime boyfriend Dwayne Seymour, or a friend she'd had a brief encounter with, Jeremy Covington, was Ocario's father. She admitted to cheating out of spite after hearing rumors about Seymour's infidelity, but her dramatic reveal, neither man was the biological father. The audience gasped.
Romelis looked genuinely shocked.
Can you imagine going on Paternity Court? And the fact that, like, when I see these, I always question, like, that's got to be fake. Like, what lady would go up there knowing that there's another man that's the possible father, and you only bring 2 out of the 3? Like, there's no way. I just always couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, why would you bring 2 out of 3? Why not? I mean, you already got 2. Why wouldn't you just bring all 3 of them so you could really find out? Which obviously she found out because process of elimination. But I just always thought that's got to be fake. But no, it happened to her.
Insisting she hadn't been with anyone else. But the DNA doesn't lie, and she eventually hinted at another possible father she hadn't mentioned. Even back then, there were signs of manipulation, of playing angles, of working different men to see who would step up and take responsibility. Judge Lauren Lake called her out on it, saying, "You're working each angle. Who'll come out with a better hand?" Romelis also had a documented criminal history in Georgia, including a 2022 arrest in Fayette County for DUI related to drugs, failure to maintain lane, and marijuana possession. She pleaded guilty to the DUI charge, while the other charges were dismissed. There was also 1 prior contact with Child Protective Services, though details remain confidential. The picture that emerges is of someone who was struggling, who had substance issues, who had been on CPS's radar before, and who had a history of poor decision-making. In May 2025, Romelis moved from Georgia to Porter, Texas, telling people she was seeking a fresh start and peace of mind. She had no extended family nearby, no support system, just her children, and whatever criminal enterprise she was running. Neighbors would later describe her as quiet, saying they'd barely interacted with her during the few months she lived there. One neighbor who saw the children regularly said they seemed happy, waving and asking to pet the family dog just days before the tragedy.
He always waves and we tell him hi, and they come back by, and I have a little Yorkie, and sometimes she'll stop and ask if she can pet the puppy. Just seeing them Friday, and they were happy and on their way telling us hi and bye, and figuring I would see them again Monday afternoon.
No red flags, no obvious signs of abuse or neglect. And yet, less than 48 hours later, 2 of those children would be dead, and 2 more would be fighting for their lives in a hospital. That same neighbor would later express the confusion and horror everyone felt. Heartbreaking to think that anything could be so bad that you have to take your children's life. I don't understand.
Heartbreaking to think that anything could be so bad that you have to take your children's life. I don't understand.
We didn't know anything about the lady, but as for the 13-year-old boy and then his little sister, he was very sweet. We would see him in the afternoons because we would sit out in the afternoon, and we would see him going to get her from the daycare and bringing her back and taking care of her. We didn't know anything about the other 2 kids. And when we heard it, I couldn't believe it, and I'm still in shock. What would, have a mother do that?
And maybe that's the thing. Maybe there is no understanding this. Maybe trying to find a logical explanation for why a mother would drive her children an hour away in the middle of the night, shoot them at close range, calmly pump gas, and then call for help while insisting she'd called the devil instead, maybe that's an exercise in futility. But we can at least look at the factors that converge to create this nightmare. The mental health aspect, the talk of the devil and paranoia. And then there's the fraudulent operations. You can't create fake IDs with your own photo, but different names, without understanding that what you're doing is illegal and requires concealment. So was she genuinely delusional, or was she someone who understood exactly what she was doing and simply didn't care about the consequences anymore? Romulus now sits in Brazuria County Jail with a $14 million bond, $5 million for each murder charge and $2 million for each aggravated assault charge. She faces 2 counts of capital murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Prosecutors may seek the death penalty pending competency evaluations. She's being held in isolation under 24-hour monitoring, which makes sense given both the nature of her charges and her stated mental state. The 2 surviving children, Kyle and Traviel, are in stable condition and have been interviewed by authorities. They're cooperating with the investigation, which means at ages 8 and 9, these children are having to recount the night their mother shot them and killed their siblings.
The 2 surviving children were life flighted into a Houston area hospital where they remain in stable condition.
The trauma they'll carry from this is unimaginable. They've lost 2 siblings, they've lost their mother, even though she's still alive, and they've lost any sense of safety or security they might have had. They're now in foster care, with permanent custody arrangements still being determined. And then there's the mystery of the 5th child. Remember, Romulus has 5 children total, but only 4 were in the vehicle that morning. A 17-year-old remains unaccounted for, and when investigators search the home and question family members, no one could or would say where this teenager is. Is this child safe somewhere? Did they escape a similar fate by not being present that morning? Are they in hiding in another state? The fact that this child is missing from the entire narrative adds yet another layer of concern to an already horrific case. The community response has been one of shock and grief. Sheriff Bo Stallman, in his public briefing, called it an event that has shaken our community to its core.
This event has shaken our community, and we are all feeling the loss.
And he thanked the public for their prayers and support for both the children and the first responders who had to witness this scene. Romulus's father, speaking from Georgia after the arrests, told reporters the family is still trying to make sense of it all. And honestly, maybe that's all anyone can say. Maybe there is no making sense of it. Do you also think Onenda's 5th child may be lying dead somewhere?
Oh, that's awful. Awful, awful. It just doesn't make sense. Like, of course, not a lot of this doesn't make sense. I mean, you can't make sense of evil, but just she drove them an hour away. It just doesn't make sense. You drove them an hour away. You did this, then you calmly pumped gas. I was muted. You can hear me now? Yes, no, maybe. This happened October 2025, like last month. This just happened. She's in jail on $14 million bond. Yeah, premeditated for sure. And I understand people talking like that, or I saw Lady D say, people that talk like that. But when she said the devil's minions, I don't think for a second, that people thought she was talking about her kids. Okay, I thought so, Vicky. I don't think they thought she was talking about her kids at all. It's just awful. I mean, there's just so many of these stories coming out now. It's awful. Yeah, I thought I was using my headset and I was using my computer. I didn't realize. But yeah, these stories, I mean, it just seems like more and more people. But I mean, she clearly, and he could be in Haiti. He could be in Haiti, the teenager, because she did have property in Haiti, and I believe that's where her parents were from. Love you, Nicholas. I believe that's where her parents were from, so he could be there. I don't know, but I just think it's strange that there's, and he is 17, so he's a little bit older. But yes, her 13 and 3-year-old passed away. Her 8 and 9-year-old are the ones who um, the 8 and 9-year-old are the ones who survived. And so they are talking to the cops and things like that. I did hear about David, yes, and I will probably do that on Thursday and give like a complete update on the David case, because we have talked about it and there's so much coming out. It's about time, is what I can say. I mean, I don't see why it wasn't. Yeah, I don't see how they hadn't arrested somebody already in that case, to be honest. With all the videos and everything that's come out, I mean, she was literally missing, but she was on live stream with him. There's a missing person, thing out for her, and she's on live stream. Like, how is that possible? How is he not charged for that? He's grown, is he not? I mean, I'm pretty sure he's grown. And so, she's a missing teenager. He's a grown man. I think he's what, in his 20s? I can't remember at this point exactly what his age is, but I know he is an adult. And she was a little kid, a teenager, but she was still young. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's a suspect now. That's what I'm saying. He's always been a suspect in my eyes. Like, you can't, I don't understand how you can't be the number one suspect when there are those videos out while she's missing. She's in your car. You've made songs about doing exactly what happened to her. Like, there's so many things that, I mean, and they clearly were together. They had matching tattoos. They were, again, the live streams are right there. I mean, that she even talks about, they made a joke about raping kids, and all these things. So I don't understand why he is a suspect now and hasn't always been. Because I guarantee you, just the one fact that there is, if that I flew out of town to another country, I don't care if I am, even if I was an artist, I fly out of town to another country on tour, and then they find my vehicle with somebody in it that's no longer with us. I would be the number one suspect. Anybody would. Dawn, it's a an artist or performer that we have talked about it on True Crime before. He was dating this younger girl. She was missing for a while, I think like over a year. And then that is the vehicle, the Tesla that they found in that parking lot with the body inside. And he had made songs about taking her out of this world. I mean, there's so much there. We've talked about it a couple times on True Crime. So I think I'm going to do like Thursday, I'll just do a video, updating the case and maybe like a short summary of everything that's happened up until now, and just get everybody caught up if you don't know. You remember it now? Yeah. He's a suspect now. Call me BB. Like, what? I mean, I've always thought, right, Lita? I've always suspected him. Right. It's like, I mean, I guess I'm sure they have always suspected him, but they probably were letting him, maybe they didn't have enough solid evidence. Maybe they were trying to see what he would do if they put the pressure on him. Because police work, maybe they're doing something else. So I'm sure they've always suspected him, because how could you not? Regardless if he's out of the country, because the body was obviously in a state of decomposition. So he's finally a suspect, Tina. But the story of, I do want to clear up the one thing that I did see a lot in this story. I never saw any reports, actual reports from the police. Like, I never saw any documents that said they recovered infant remains from his property. That was something that went around on TikTok that I never was able to substantiate, in like an actual news story or any court documents or anything like that. So yeah, but I will do a video for that Thursday, and then we can get all caught up. But it's just, and I get police work. Like, they may not just be saying, just like the serial killer stuff that's out in places. I mean, they found human remains out. They found human remains in right off Myrtle Beach, like Grissom Parkway, October 27th. And then, yeah. So I don't know. But, just like there's other places, they're finding all kinds of bodies and they're like, oh no, there's no serial killer. They're not connected. Right, Lakita, and people were saying that everywhere, and I never could. Like, I never reported it, and even if you go back and watch the first time I talked, well, not the first time, I think it was the second time after they had done the search warrant and everything, you could see people in my comments like, "What about the infant remains? The infant remains?" I was like, "Yeah, no, I've not been able to, find that, like, for real." But yeah, people on because I guess they were carrying out a box or something, and so people just said that the box was that, and then it just went wild, like wildfire everywhere. So yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they know a lot more. I mean, they've got to have. I would hope that they have cell phone records. All those things they've tried to pull. Again, she was a missing person for a while, so. And again, I don't know how people close to her didn't know where she was, and or like they were on live in front of lots of people. Um, so that just never, I just don't, I never understood that. Like, how can you be missing, but you're in front of thousands of people, with someone who is famous? Of 4 women killed within a week. Oh my goodness, Christina. Mm. Yeah, Lindsay. So we'll do that Thursday. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of True Crime Tuesday with me, your host, Feminine and Fierce. I will be back for a little bit of malarkey, so stay tuned. Bye. See y'all Thursday. Thank y'all for tuning in. Bye, y'all.